I'm going to, in today's presentation, I'm going to discuss about the feminist film theory, the male gaze and the representation of women in cinema. Academic information, table of content, research question was how does feminist film theory reveal the way cinema construct, challenge, and reshape the representation of women, the male gaze, and the intersectional perspective across global and Indian films. Hypothesis like films that resist the male gaze and the highlighting women's perspective, desire and agency challenges traditional gender stereotype by including intersectional voice and the film centered storytelling. Such film can empower women on a screen and influence audience to critically engage with the patriarchal norms. Moreover, feminist filmmaker techniques such as the female gaze, the subjective framing, and the emotionally driven narratives reshape spectatorship and the promote empathy, equality, and the cultural understanding across global and Indian cinema. Introduction, like feminist theory focusing on how women are represented in a global and Indian cinema. It examines the male gaze like objectifying women, and the female gaze showing women's emotion, agency, and perspective. It also highlighting feminist filmmaking technique, intersectional representation and woman centered storytelling in woman like a Thuppered Queen and a Portrait of Lady on Fire. The presentation discuss how these film challenging stereotypes empower women and the influence audience understanding of gender roles. Definition and importance of feminist film theory, like uh, what is the meaning of like gaze, like studies how cinema construct or challenge gender roles, huh? Also use psychoanalysis, semiotics, and the cultural theory to expose bias. So, feminist film theory examines how film create or challenge gender roles. It use idea from psychology and cultural to show hidden bias. This theory helps audience to notice stereotypes and encourage better representation of women in a movie, like male gaze. So women are objects of a visual pleasure of men. Bias on voyeurism and the fetishism, presenting women through a masculine lens. So, the male gaze is when films show woman as an object for a man's pleasure. The camera, story, and audience all see through the man's point of view. For example, in James Bond's movie, women are glamorized but not fully developed as the characters. Female gaze resistance, like show woman as a subjects with agency and voice, emphasizes empathy, connection, and mutual respect. Women viewers can identify with the inner experience, not just a beauty. So female gaze show woman as a subject with like feeling, choice, and voice. Movie like a Piano, Lipstick Under My Burqa, Portrait of Lady on Fire. It's focused on woman's inner world, desire and strength, rejecting objections. A historical evolution of feminist film theory, like early cinema, women are represented as romantic domestic in a golden age, like beauty and dependence. Feminist era, movies publisher, visual pleasure, and narrative cinema. Also, as a contemporary era, diverse filmmaker challenged the gaze. Uh, in early cinema, like a woman were mainly romantic or like a domestic, like Hollywood's golden age focus on a glamour. Feminist filmmaker in the 17th onwards, like Thelma and Louisa, gave women control over their stories. Today, films like Queen or Lady Bird continue this trend. Technique in cinema, like camera angle, framing, lighting, editing, like camera angle low, high angle show power of vulnerability, like framing, close up or fragmented body shot, sexualize a woman. Lighting, soft versus harsh, lighting change perception. Editing, like slow motion, emphasize male desire. Feminist filmmaker use neutral lighting, subjective framing, POV shots, Also, like a thupad focusing on Amrita's emotion, portrait of a lady on fire, like a woman seeing a being seen equally. Global cinema focus, like uh, uh, Thelma Louisa, which woman rebel against the patriarchy, challenge male dominance in society. The piano, silence and gaze as a source of female empowerment. Woman control narrative through emotional and body language. A portrait of a lady on fire, like a mutual female gaze, emphasize concern, desire, and the emotional connection. Reject objection, like Roma, highlighting working class women's resilience and the dignity show women's labor and care as a central narrative element. Indian cinema focus on like male gaze. Bollywood often idealize woman as a beauty icon or a romantic object. For example, in a Sholay, like a film, female characters serve like a male heroes narratives. Reasons like Queen emphasizes self-discovery and independence over romance. Thappad criticize normalization, patriarchal behavior, and domestic violence. Kahani, woman drives narratives, intelligence over appearance. Fire, like challenge heteronormativity and the male dominant narratives. Visual analysis and scene comparison, like a male gaze. James Bond series also emphasize the emphasize camera angles and fragmented body, short, slow motion, and female feudality, as well as like male gaze uses objectified angles, like in also we see in a James Bond series, like i- also female gaze, like a portrait of a lady on fire, like camera follow woman's emotion, not physical beauty, like Kahani emphasizing strength, intelligence, and agency rather than appearance. Impact on audience, like recognize gender bias and stereotype in media, like encourages critical viewing, questioning narratives that reinforce patriarchy, inspires filmmakers to present women as a thinker, leader, and creators, promotes empathy, equality, and cultural understanding through the storytelling. For example, viewers of Thelema and Luisa or Lipstick Under My Burqa learn to see woman as an active subject, not passive object. Also, what is unsaid that movie, like a woman's real perspective often ignored. Stories told about them, not by them. Film rarely show woman looking back or interpreting the world. Objectification is a normalized, female subjectivity absent. Intersectional voice, like woman of color, queer woman, working class woman, often invisible. For movie like Thappad highlighting how women's experience or domestic violence and emotional neglected are often ignored, showing everyday patriarchy that remains unsaid. Why it matters? So silence, it shows the power, what is unsaid, relevance, hidden, and structure of patriarchy. Like feminist film theory exposes exclusion and promotes inclusion, empowers marginalized voice. For example, Friday's silence info, transformation, spectatorship. Audience learn to read subtext and the critic visual. Conclusions of feminist film theory reveals the hidden power structure in cinema and how women are often objectified through the male gaze. By highlighting what is unsaid, their perspective, intersection, voice, and the everyday struggle, film can give more agency and visibility. Contemporary global and Indian films, such as A Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Lipstick Under My Burqa, and The Thappad, show women as a thinker, doers, and creators rather than objects. The future of feminist film theory embraces the digital streaming platform and multi-gaze, transforming spectatorship and promoting critical viewing, empathy, and culture understanding. So references, thank you. If you have any question, then ask freely.
So, Kumkum, my question is that how does the female gaze challenge the traditional portrayals of women in cinema?
Uh, so the female gaze show as a woman is a woman have their feeling, their own choice. They have to know what they have to do, and they are not object for men only. So yeah.
So, Kumkum, my question is how do feminist filmmaking techniques influence audience views on gender and empowerment?
So when female make a film, then she tries to show main character as a woman, and they gave their voice, and they gave their voice, and make a feminist perspective better. Also challenge the stereotype that how she can show woman in their movie. So yeah, this is from my side. Thank you.